Welcome in. I'm Sam Ekstrom. This is the Vikings Squad Show. Yes, newly renamed, newly rebranded. Welcome in. We're glad that you're with us on the Locked On Vikings YouTube channel, Locked On Sports Minnesota YouTube channel, and find our audio later on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed. This is our Care 11 show. We've got Julia Daniels. We've got Ron Johnson. We've got Minnesota Vikings training camp report day yesterday. The first practice is today, breaking down the Kwesi, Adofo-Mensah, and Kevin O'Connell press conference. They touched on Josh Metellus. Do we think a deal gets done with him? And a new segment, Bubble Trouble. Let's talk about the Vikings roster bubble players, and we will have a fun UDFA draft where we try to figure out which undrafted, unheralded players will make the Minnesota Vikings roster. Today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right. I told you who's on the show, but let's see what they want to talk about today. Julia.
Hi, Julia Daniels, sports reporter at Care 11. Sports reporter from Shoreview at the moment because Care 11 is currently out of commission. Everyone that doesn't know, a transformer blew up at Care 11 yesterday. And so our shows are, for the time being, coming from Shoreview. They look a little patched together, so bear with us. But I'm still going to go to training camp today, still going to do the coverage that we can to see what's going on with the Vikings, and grateful for the cloud cover today, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm Ron Johnson, former Gophers and NFL wide receiver. Got a chance to talk to a lot of Vikings this offseason, Theo Jackson, CJ Ham. We just had Max Brosmer on, and then, of course, the Gopher Drake Lindsay. So I want to talk about why everybody needs a bro, and the Gophers need a Brosmer.
I love it. And I'm Sam Ekstrom here at Locked On Sports Minnesota. Let's jump into the Kwesi, Adofo-Mensah, Kevin O'Connell press conference yesterday. You know what, Julia and Ron? We did it. We got to press conference day without something cataclysmic happening. Nobody, to my knowledge, got hurt during the break. Nobody got arrested during the break. I think the biggest thing was Dallas Turner losing a bunch of money to a scam. Like that was the biggest story that happened the last 6 weeks. So that is a success, and therefore the press conference was fairly uneventful, I would say, from like a newsworthy standpoint. But Julia, what did you take out of this from Kwesi and KOC?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing that we saw was players not. So when I got the text yesterday from Reggie, he said I thought that it read Christian Darrisaw going on the PUP is a development. And it said not, and I didn't realize it said not going on the PUP. So I was like, why is that a surprise? I'm not surprised that he's on the PUP. You know, they want roster spots, this, that, the other. It's training camp. No, Christian Darrisaw's not on the PUP, and neither is Rondell Moore or Will Fries. Huge news, I feel like, especially when it comes to Christian Darrisaw, because we expected him to be out at least the first few weeks of the season. Now, did we get like official word about that? No, but generally with his type of injury, we were expecting them to not necessarily push him so much, which according to Kevin O'Connell, that's not what they're doing at all. It just happens to be that he's put in the work and he's recovering better than expected right now. So exciting stuff. They're not going to be participating 100%, obviously, in training camp, but they're going to be out there at practice, which is super exciting. And I know Will Fry's another guy. He had a broken tibia from training camp with the Falcons last year. Another guy that's supposed to be out there at training camp, participating in practice. So they are expecting these guys. I mean, this is a big deal because they're letting those guys take up roster spots because they are expecting them to be a part of this team as soon as possible. So exciting stuff, along with Rondell Moore too. Just to see them out there. I was very surprised when they said this. And especially Christian Darrisaw, I feel like with his injury type and being such a big guy, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how that works, but I was surprised at the fact that he will be back so soon. I think it also has to do with, I mean, we talk about this all the time, just the training staff and TCO. I mean, these are the best orthopedic surgeons in the country when it comes to these types of injuries. So clearly we're seeing it all pay off, and excited to see CD, Will Fries, and Rondell Moore. So a few questions answered that we probably didn't expect to be answered for a few weeks. So very exciting to see.
Yeah, super encouraging. I was just doing the math on my hands. Like, I think the injury for Darrisaw was around Halloween-ish
It was like
last
October,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, like late October. So November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 9 months. And he's already doing stuff on the field. And I had a big concern that this offensive line wasn't going to be able to play together at all until like a month into the season because of Fry's injury, because of Darrisaw's injury. And now it seems like they will get a chance to gel before week 1. And I want JJ McCarthy to have the most realistic camp experience possible. I want him to get used to the line that he's going to be playing with. And I think that becomes a little more of a reality. And I think that the KOC and Kwesi talking about McCarthy was also pretty interesting from that press conference. Just the way that they've seen him develop, not only as a player, but as a leader. I feel like that's kind of the biggest, and maybe it's a bit cliche to say that the quarterback is easing into his leadership role. But I think that every report I've read is that JJ McCarthy is kind of a magnetic presence. And I think that KOC has echoed that. And now JJ gets to really step into that now that he's leading a camp as the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. And that's all wonderful to hear. I'm glad that they're saying that, as opposed to, he's quiet, he leads by example, which makes me think that he's shy about it. He's not comfortable in it. I like to hear that he's like vocal and that guys are gravitating to him. Ron, what did you take away from the presser yesterday?
Just as KLC's team, like I think Kwesi's excited about KLC. Like I think he truly believes in what Kevin's putting together, and they have the pieces this year. You know, the only piece that everybody's question marking is quarterback. And here's where I go with this. I don't know. Have you guys seen the Warren Sharp football analysis where he ranked all the positions and everything?
I saw the one where the Vikings were highly, highly ranked. That one?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was just the front 7. But I went through all of them, Sam, because you know me. I like to go through all of them. And this is, and it's amazing that it comes out right before training camp. So this is a pre-training camp. We don't know who's going to be healthy when the season starts. But I'm gonna do some quick stuff, and this is where I get what Kwesi's saying. So wide receivers, where do you think they have the Vikings in this list?
Total depth of the wide receiver room.
Yep, and it's going off like 5. I think they're going off like the top 5 options for receiver.
Like out of all the teams?
So they rank. So Julia, this Warren Sharp, you know, he does something every year. His football analysis. He used to have a magazine. Now I think it's just digital now. That's how old I am. It used to be a magazine, but now it's just digital. But he did all the positions. So he did receivers, front 7, quarterback, O-line, running back, defensive backs, and head coach. And he ranked 1 through 32 for every team. He did it all summer. The front 7 was the final piece yesterday before training camp, and Packer fans aren't happy because the Vikings are number 1. So I'll bury that lead because everybody else saw that. But if you don't click and subscribe to his deal, you didn't see the rest. I did because I'm like, okay, I want to see what these people think. And again, he's just one pundit. Everybody has their own take, but front 7, he had the Vikings number 1.
That's crazy.
Vikings are number 1 front 7. When he comes to the rest of the NFC, he has the Lions as 10. Why? Injury. Aiden Hutchinson, who knows when he's coming back? Their front 7, or their offensive line, they just had retirements happen, so they don't even know who's going to be their center right now. You got the Packers are down for front 7 at 25. And then the Bears are at 20. So they have the Packers as the worst front 7 in the NFC North. But receivers, they're in the top 5. But where do you think they fail?
4.
Julia?
3.
Yep. So they got the receivers as 3. O-line. So here's the one. O-line.
Guessing games.
O-line. Where do you think they have the O-line?
Well, PFF had them 7. I think we talked last week.
Yep.
I'm going to say 6.
Julia?
8.
5. So they have them in the top 5 offensive line, and partly because of what you guys just said, no pup. So Christian Darrisaw is a big piece of this offensive line. Will Fry, they highly regard Will Fries and Kelly off their pass. And so they're saying this is one of the toughest offensive lines. They're strong. And then they also have the rookie Donovan Jackson, who was quote unquote one of the best options in the draft for a lot of teams as an interior offensive lineman. Running back, I'll put it like this. Everything is top 10. Everything was top 10. So running back, which a lot of people would not assume Aaron Jones, but Jordan Mason adds to that. So running back is top 10. DBs are top 10. Head coach, I think, is a little low. He's in the top 10. He's not in the top 5. They also gave the Chiefs head coach a 100 score, like a perfect score. It's like, come on, he's not perfect.
So hold on. Go back. DBs, you said, are
top 10.
10?
Yep.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
With Isaiah Rodgers and Theo Jackson? Still top 10.
I think they're giving Josh Metellus. Here, let me read it real quick. I think they're giving Josh Metellus a nod. I think they're still loving Harrison Smith. Secondary rankings, they have the Vikings, and it's a composite score of all the players. So their composite score got them to a 65.
Who had the top receiver core?
The top. Well, let me look at the
Bengals?
DBs first. I'll tell you what they said about the Vikings' top 8 defensive backs real quick. The reason for the Vikings secondary finished 8th in our rankings, 1 spot above last season. Harrison Smith and Byron Murphy are back for another season. So they're putting a lot of pressure on Byron Murphy and Harrison Smith. I think even though he's old, they love a good Harrison Smith as far as receivers go. And tight ends go with that. That's the other part of this. So tight ends and receivers. So it's both. They have the Lions as number 1. They got the Eagles as number 2. They got the Vikings 3, Bengals 4, Buccaneers 5. And then Rams 6. Bears actually got a top 7 over the Cowboys. So, and then the Dolphins are 8. Dolphins are 9. Chiefs are 10. And I'm guessing they're giving the Chiefs the Patrick Mahomes nod. But yeah, the Lions have tight ends. We know that. And the Eagles have a great receiving core. But TJ Hawkinson adds to Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson along with Jalen Naylor.
Yeah.
Who is the Lions' number 2 receiver? Like, I know Laporta, and Laporta balances out with Hawkinson.
Amon St. Brown and Jameson Williams from Alabama.
J-Mo, Roll Tide.
Kind of like the Vikings' top 2 compared to their top 2, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but I think they're giving Sam Laporta the nod. And Hawkinson coming off injury. That's a little bit of it.
Yep.
But yeah, they gave him a top 3. They gave the O-line a top 5, running back top 7, DBs top 8, head coach 7. Quarterback is the one question mark. And my guess the last thing is probably going to be overall team. It's probably his last one right before the first preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
Vikings quarterback, they didn't love him. What do you think he fell?
28.
19.
Julius closer. 26. 26. They gave JJ McCarthy, and of course he's a rookie, so we know that's going to happen. But
it's just the unknown. Yeah.
All the things I'm reading, not just this, but online, people always say the rookie quarterbacks never get a high nod unless they were the first overall pick, and people are just. But even Cam Ward, they're at 27 for the Titans. So and Cam Ward was one of the top quarterbacks taken. But you got JJ McCarthy. Basically says coming off the 26 in our rankings is 2 spots lower than we ranked Sam Darnold last season. So they're basically just, they're going off of he's a rookie, he's in this offense, we don't know what he can be, but we're going to put him down at 26 just to be safe. Aaron Rodgers, though, is only 25. So they have 1 step up above Aaron Rodgers. So I think Vikings fans can be happy with that. But that's what I took away from the press conference, though, Sam, is Kwesi loves the guys, he loves the people, and he thinks Kevin O'Connell is going to be a great leader for him. And the pieces are in place to go out and try to, contend for a Super Bowl.
They also said in that press conference they expect Josh Metellus to practice and not to be holding in or holding out. Do we expect a contract to get done soon? And what could that look like? It's coming up next on the Viking Squad Show. Brought to you today by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, gives you full visibility and control over your finances. Big accomplishment in our house. Got a 4 and a 5-year-old dual daycare bill. Just sent in the final month before public school starts for the oldest one in September. That's going to feel pretty good, and Monarch is going to help us realize now how much we're saving, and that's going to help us build wealth. That's what Monarch is all about. What I really like, though, is that you can categorize you can put all your expenses in certain buckets and you see kind of the pie chart, how the money is being spent. You track your accounts, you track your expenses, and Monarch is a one-stop shop. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Rolling on, Viking Squad Show. We've got another squad show tomorrow with Arif Hassan, Luke Braun, Luke Inman. All right, Josh Metellus, according to Kwesi and KOC, sounds like he's going to be at practice, and I assume practicing in some regard. Maybe they hold him out of 11-on-11s. We don't know yet for sure. I don't know if Metellus is practicing until Saturday, if it's just rookies to start. We won't have anyone, out there publicly until Saturday, but do we think that this deal is going to get done sooner than later? I think it's an interesting discussion about what he is worth. I'm guessing his representation, Ron, feels like he is worth a lot. I did some research on this. So guess who the first question, another guessing game. Guess what the 10th highest paid safety is paid in the NFL, Ron?
The 10th highest paid, like yearly or overall? Per year, I'd say the 10th highest paid safety, because I looked at the top two. I remember this before. 10th highest paid safety per year is probably like $8 million.
And the answer is $15 million.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And guess who it is?
Minka?
Cam Bynum.
Oh.
Cam Bynum. So you've got Cam Bynum making $15 million a year. The team prioritized keeping Josh Metellus around. They let Bynum walk. You don't think his representation is saying, hey, our guy was on the field with Cam Bynum. He played 90% of the snaps. He's a full-time player. He means a lot to you. They're absolutely lobbying for him to be a top 10 paid safety in the league, especially with Bynum being the number 10 at $15 million a year. So with that price tag, I think this is a complex talk. Like, I think that's a lot of money for the Vikings to commit. They're probably looking for something long-term. I'm not saying it's going to get messy, but I think that this is a heavy, weighty contract negotiation, Ron, to get Metellus back. So do you think the deal gets done sooner, later, it gets drawn out, maybe doesn't get done?
I think sooner than later it does get done, but I think Josh Metellus, like you said, he's a great guy. He's a team-first guy. And I think, he's been a part of seeing what it looks like when guys hold in. It's probably a weird locker room. I mean, I've been a part of that back in my day. I don't need to say guys' names, but we had guys that would do that. They would show up to practice and then they would just go sit in the locker room. The media would come around. They didn't have to talk to the media because they weren't signed. So it was really weird. And I look back on that and where those guys are now, and I'm like, man, I bet they wish they had done it a different way, because they did get their money, but then it didn't really work out. Like either they got hurt or something happened, and it just takes away from the flow of I'm a football player. Let me stay on this field. Let my agent and the team handle this. I don't want this to affect how I feel about people, how people feel about me. TJ Hawkinson, for him, he got paid. It is what it is. But, did that affect any part of what could have been? We'll never know, to be honest. We won't. And so, not to say, injuries happen, but you can always look back and say, it could have been handled a different way, probably. But it is what it is. So I'm always going to say, go get your money. Never going to hate on anybody. But I think Josh Metellus is doing it the right way. I also think as a team, though, Kevin O'Connell can probably make sure to keep Josh away from stuff that'll get him hurt. My guess is full go stuff. He won't be involved in it if he doesn't want to be. But just running around, being out there, learning the scheme, being a part of the shells and the shorts practices and the flip-flop practices. I mean, why not do it? And even if you're out there for the padded practices, they can keep you out of stuff. I just think it's more of the optics of it. And Josh is a great guy, and I don't think he wants that headache.
And I think that KOC mentioned yesterday, Josh is a captain. When you're a captain, there's some expectations on you to be out there and lead by example too. Julia, your thoughts on this contract? Are we going to get one here pretty soon?
I agree with you in saying that it's a very complex situation. When he got his last contract, didn't the season had already started at that point, right? I mean, he had less leverage at that point in his career, but
right.
I want to say it was the first few weeks of the season had had already gone by. I don't
Trying to
think
look it up right now. Go ahead. Keep going.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything that Ron said. Josh is very much a team guy. He's team first. He's just the type that I feel like he just, and you know, I hate to say it, I'm not trying to diss anybody else that sits out, but to him, I think being there for his team is very high on his priority list, along with getting paid. It's not like, oh, I can just go somewhere else and get paid. He wants to be here. Like he, you know, loves his team, loves his organization, appreciates his role as a captain in the organization. And I think he takes his job very seriously as well. Like, and the new, I feel like it's a newer leadership role for him too, in the past 2 years that he's kind of stepped into. But he doesn't just seem like the type that's like going to be too terribly worried about his contract anyways, because I think there's like a mutual respect between him and the organization, and they understand the importance of each other and how well they work together. So I feel like he's also, you know, Kevin and Kwesi are saying, you know, this is something that we're in dialogue with his representation, whatever. And he's very much the type that's just like, you know, this is Adam, I've done what I can. I'm going to continue to prove like myself and my worth. And I think to him, part of proving his worth is being out there at training camp and showing like, I am that guy. And so I think that will only help him in the long run in terms of getting the contract done. Timeline wise, I feel like they're going to try and get it done as soon as possible, just because that's how that cookie crumbles anyways. But it just depends on like agreements that they can come to.
His last contract was September 7th, 2023.
Okay, I thought it was early in
so like
season.
right, like week 1, basically.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was early in the season. So yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a similar situation.
Mm-hmm. Ron, let me ask you this. In this negotiation, do you think that the argument from Metellus' agent is that he is more valuable than the average safety because of everything he does, the pass rushing, the run support, the roving around? Do you think that actually gives him more value?
Shoot. So remember, this comes down to the argument of Debo. Remember Debo Samuel's argument when he wanted more money. You know, he tried to say, I'm a receiver, but I'm also a running back. And then it came down to dollars, and they were like, well, should you be paid? Like, remember, that was the whole argument with him. Should you be paid like a running back? Should you play like a receiver? Who else had that? Travis Kelce. Remember, I'm not a tight end. I'm a receiver. Pay me like the receivers. I want receiver money. I do receiver routes. I catch balls like receivers. So there's always that dollar amount. So for him, what he would have to look at is a linebacker contract, like he's not a rush in, he's not a what's his name, a Van Ginkel or a Grenard. Is a Blake Cashman contract better for him, or is a Harrison Smith, Minka Fitzpatrick like he has to look at the safety top 5, top 10, then maybe look at the linebacker top 5, top 10, and then maybe he's somewhere in there. But for him, I think it does add value, but it only adds value to a team that knows how to use them. Like if I'm the 49ers and I'm just running a basic 4-3 defense, do I need another safety in the box? I probably don't, because I have 3 true linebackers. The Vikings running a 4-3, their 2 outside linebackers technically make it a 5-2, to be honest. They're running like a bare front. They're putting 5 down linemen, and then they're putting 2 linebackers back. So Josh Metellus becomes, quote unquote, the 3rd linebacker to make it look like a 4-3 walked out front. That's all it is. You're bringing the 3rd guy down to give you the Mike, Sam, and Will feeling. So Blake Cashman, as he always said, he said on the show, Blake Cashman's the Mike. I think he said Kobe could come in and play the Will, like he's good enough. And then you'd have Ivan Pace, or you're going to have Josh Metellus as the Sam. And so that's where you get. And for people that wonder why they call it that, it's really simple, people. The Sam starts with an S, it's strong. The Will starts with a W, it's weak. The Mike is middle. Mo is I'm middle and I'm outside, which meaning I'm going to be the bouncer guy. I'm the guy that's always going to take on the blocks. I'm the guy that's going to rush. So it's really simple. Football's not hard if you know the letters. That's all it is. So the strong side, or Sam linebacker, the weak side, like Josh Metellus could say that. Like, what does Blake Cashman make? What is Ray Lewis. Like you could just I think his agent is probably doing all that math now. And then honestly, and they might even get very, very PFF-ish. They're going to say, look, he spent 50% of his snaps was at linebacker. So I want 50% of linebacker money. And then, 30% was at safety. So I want 30% safety money. And then, another 20% was at DN because he did rush. So I want DN money here. I mean, that's the one thing about lawyers and agents. You can get really creative because the NFL is all about hey, look, we're working with you as we go too. So I think that's going to be the next step. Can they come up with a contract that all the dollars make sense? And then they say, hey, boom. What's Cam Bynum getting? 15?
15 a year.
See, I don't think they can pay him because clearly they didn't want to pay Bynum that. So my guess is they're going to come back with a $12 million deal, $10 million deal somewhere in there, and maybe a high guarantee though, because they know he's a fairly healthy guy. He rarely is, out. And he plays every snap just about on defense. So I could see them coming up with a high guarantee and maybe a lower yearly because Rob Brzezinski knows I got to get the most out of this team while we have JJ McCarthy on a rookie deal.
If you look at him as a linebacker, an inside linebacker, 10th highest paid linebacker is Dre Greenlaw, makes $10.5 million per year. So a little less than safety. Maybe you split the difference. Maybe you go between 15 and 10.5. You get 12, pay him 4 years, 48, and call it a day. And you lock him up long term. Harrison Smith probably gone, I would think, after this year. Then you have Metellus, you've got Theo Jackson, and then you add one more piece and you're set.
I will say I know Rob Brzezinski watches because he told me I saw him walking and randomly drove up on him, and he was like, "Man, are you doing your podcast today?" So hey Rob, Sam just told you the dollar amount. Let's get it done.
What's up, Rob? Good to see you. Good job on the contracts. When we come back, bubble trouble. Who's in trouble or who could find their way off the bubble onto the roster? 91 Vikings reporting to camp. We'll talk about the bubble guys next. Today, we are brought to you by Rougiette. If you're a guy, might have heard of Viagra or Cialis at some point along the way. Well, now it's time to meet Rougiette Ready. It's a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. And unlike the usual pills that take hours, Rougiette is ready in 15 minutes with their 3-in-1 formula that dissolves under your tongue, kicks in fast. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment approaches. If traditional options haven't worked, Rougiette might be the answer. 150,000 men have given it a try. You can read real customer reviews on their site. Helps people feel more confident when you see those testimonials. So head to rougiette.com/LockedOnNFL. Use code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL. Promo code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiette website for full safety information. Bubble trouble, our third segment today. Only 53 can make it, Julia and Ron. That means 38 Vikings will be cut. It's bubble trouble. You don't want to be on the bubble. So I want one name. Let's just start with one name. We'll start with Julia. Give me the name of somebody on the roster bubble that intrigues you that you will be watching.
Would we consider Ty Chandler a bubble?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Bringing in Jordan Mason, it just really makes me wonder what Ty Chandler's role is supposed to be this year. Obviously, we didn't see a ton of him last season. There were some time, when Alexander Madison was RB1 the year before, and then they bring in Ty, and we'd be like, oh, there's Ty Chandler. But I'm interested to see what reps he's taking at training camp. He's definitely somebody that we'll keep an eye on, seeing, who he's taking reps with, kind of the order of everything. But definitely interested now that they've got Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason in there to see how things pan out for him in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the bubble, you're looking at who's going to knock you off the bubble. And I know that there's a very interesting rookie that they brought in from Jacksonville State down in your old neck of the woods, Julia, the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State. Trey Stewart is now a Viking. Trey Stewart had 1 year at Jacksonville State, transferred in, rushed for 1,662 yards, 25 touchdowns last year. Now, it's Jacksonville State, but that's intriguing to me. Like, if Trey Stewart can be your RB3 for the next handful of years, that makes Ty Chandler a little bit more expendable. So that does squarely, I think, put him on the bubble. Ron, quick thoughts on Chandler, and then give me a bubble guy of your own.
Yeah, so Chandler, I think you hit the nail on the head, like with the two-headed monster like Mason and what's his name? Aaron Jones. And then the fact that like your returners, you have guys on your roster at receiver that are true kick returners, like a Rondale Moore, Ty Felton. Like you have guys that can actually be a kick returner now too. That puts that like, is he valuable anymore? And that's the key. And also like the way you want to throw the ball, you got all these receivers, you got Hawkinson healthy now, you got Addison, you got Justin Jefferson. How often are you going to need a third running back? CJ Ham technically can run the ball, and maybe that gives them a chance to give CJ Ham more carries. So I think that's the thing. Also with the bubble, the guys without by their name. So the things were updated in training because we're saying we did this the other day about questionable and out. Yep. It was updated. The only questionable on the offense is Christian Darrisaw now. The offensive line is healthy other than Darrisaw. Everybody else, so Will Fries and Kelly, both are not questionable anymore. So Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Brian O'Neill are healthy. Christian Darrisaw questionable. Gavin Bartholomew, the tight end, is out. So
he's on the pup.
That right there is kind of like I thought, because we had his name in there as a potential, but being out on the pup, do you lose you can't make the club in the tub. My bubble guy, of course, I'm going to go with Max Brosmer. I want to see where him and Brett Rippon fall. Can he push Brett Rippon out? Is he cheaper than Brett Rippon? Yes. Is he smart enough? Yes. So is it a value? Like, do you need a Brett Rippon, or is it more advantageous to keep a Max Brosmer who can be your practice squad guy and your third quarterback when you might not need to keep a Brett Rippon on the roster? Another one, when you look at Rondale Moore, Ty Felton, Tim Jones, Jalen Nader, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. Tim Jones is a bubble guy I'm wondering about because of if Jordan Addison's if they're preparing for Jordan Addison to potentially not be there, Tim Jones is the fifth receiver. But if Jordan Addison, if like his agent or his lawyers are telling him like, hey man, it's going to be a slap on the wrist. It was a prescription pill. Sorry, we didn't tell you guys sooner. You should have been sleeping and driving. Tiger Woods-esque. Then I think they might say, okay, Tim Jones, you're out of there. But those are my bubble guys to watch. Also, who feels like he's on the bubble a little bit? Brian Asamoah.
He does. Yeah.
I feel like he's on the bubble now because
now that IP kind of took over what he was supposed to be.
Yeah, and then they put Kobe King in there now. Like Kobe King is ahead of him. So I just feel like he's a potential cap casualty of just numbers. They have him behind Kobe King. So it's Blake Cashman, Kobe King, and Brian Asamoah. So that he feels like a bubble guy. So I'm gonna keep my eye on that. I mean, special teams, he's a demon because he's fast. Also, Chaz Chambliss being out maybe helps Brian Asamoah because now if you keep 8 linebackers, Chaz Chambliss doesn't even have a chance right now. That's the other. My other bubble guy, of course, is Ambry Thomas. Like that's my guy. Mm-hmm. All my guys: Ambry, Max Brosmer, and then of course Brian Asamoah.
Yeah, I think you covered a lot of good ground there. Certainly, I'm going to go with a couple bubble players on the other side of the coin. They're not veterans that are in trouble. They're young guys that I like, that I think could steal a spot. Number one, Joe Huber. Joe Huber. Remember the name. Don't forget the name Joe Huber. I know it's not sexy. He's an offensive lineman. Kind of blends into the crowd. No one's talking about Joe Huber. We should talk about Joe Huber. A Wisconsin lineman. My antenna's already up. Oh, he blocked for Wisconsin in the Big Ten? All right. The guy can play. 6'5", 310. No concerns about his size. Played 3 different positions in college. Guard, left guard, right tackle. played for 2 different schools, Cincinnati and Wisconsin. He was good at both of them. 3-year starter, so he's durable. Look out for Joe Huber. I'm telling you, he's coming like a freight train to steal. And maybe the bubble guy here is Michael Juergens. Michael Juergens was a draft pick last year. Maybe he's the one who gets knocked off the bubble by someone like Joe Huber. I've also told this to Ron on the Ron Johnson show, and I'm sticking to it. Zemaiah Vaughn. Now, he could steal your guy, Ron, Ambry Thomas's spot if he's really good. Zemaiah Vaughn is big, 6'2.5". He can fly, 4'4". Those are some serious physical characteristics at cornerback. He was excellent as a cover corner at Utah. So he's big. He can fly. If he can be physical enough, if he can tackle the way that he needs to tackle at the NFL level, look out. Yeah. Zemaiah Vaughn, I think, could be one of those sneaky, like 53rd guys on the roster. At minimum, practice squad. You're not going to give up on somebody who's that size and that fast. Huge fan. I think he is going to threaten some of those bubble players that we talked about. Zemaiah Vaughn.
And the thing about Zemaiah Vaughn is there's no – because did Kevin O'Connell have Dantzler, or was he gone before Kevin O'Connell got here?
He had him 1 year.
Dantzler was, I think he got cut 2023. So I think he was here for a year. Yeah,
because that frame is kind of like a Cam Dantzler frame. So I hope Kevin O'Connell doesn't have like scary flashbacks of like guy can't hold his weight. He can't jam anybody. He's just out
he'd have to hear him screeching in the background for him to have real flashbacks.
Little Caleb Evans flashback too.
Forgot about the Caleb Evans. Whatever happened to Caleb Evans? Concussions. I forgot about that.
Oh, was it?
He had a concussion. Then he said something else. Like, remember, he was on social media talking about he's got to get away from social media.
All over Twitter, and then he was like, "I'm getting off Twitter," and then continued to tweet all the time. Yeah,
he was having the head stuff. I think he got like 2 concussions, maybe, or something like that, to keep him off the field. So and then he got in his own head and started telling the world everything's emotional. It's not as simple as you think. So he had an emo phase, and then I think he got to phase himself out. Yeah, we were pulling for him. I was hoping for him. He had the size. So I will say, Sam, you're right on that. If you can get 6'2" corners, in this Flores cover 2 at least, you are an easy guy to jam the receiver and sit in that flat. And when you're that tall, you can't throw the corner out over their head. So if they sink, it's not easy as everybody's seen that video with Richard Sherman talking about that was palms coverage. Oh man, you're a demon. Like, shut up, man. Like, but try to sucker a guy into throwing that corner out when you're supposed to be playing flat and you sink. I think it was the guy for the Bears. He did against the Vikings. I think what it was. And he forgot the guy's name. The Bears corner that went on Richard Sherman's podcast, and he got the pick against, I think it was Kirk Cousins. But he's talking about like he was playing palms coverage. It was basically just sink. He's supposed to sink into the flat, and he went underneath the corner route. But when you have 6'2" guys, that is tough to do. So if Flores finds a way for him, I mean, you're right, Sam. Like, none of these corners have a job. Like, it's still like if it comes down to money, it's like, well, this guy's cheaper than all these guys. Let's keep him. So,
Ron, maybe you can help me with this. When was the last time the Vikings developed a corner that worked out? Like, I'm obviously Xavier, but anyone since? Like, they've tried with Dantzler, tried with Evans.
Mekhi Black. Mekhi Blackman would be the next one.
Yeah, Mekhi would be an option. I don't know if we could say he's developed yet. Trey Waynes.
Trey Waynes. Yep.
Trey Waynes was an okay corner for 4 or 5 years. Not spectacular. It's just been
got paid
tough.
though.
Got paid and then got out and then retired, and now he's
hunting.
Fishing. Yeah,
hunting and fishing. Yep.
He's in the woods with a cool $60 million or something like that. Anyway, it'd be nice. It would be nice to have one corner emerge. Maybe it's someone undrafted. Maybe it's Nudie McGlothern. Maybe it's Zemaiah Vaughn. Having someone kind of rise up and be something, because you can't live this way forever at corner. You can't live on 1-year deals with veterans. You can't keep taking these flyers. Patrick Peterson's not going to save you all the time. You need to have some youth in that room. So that's what I want to see come out of this camp, is a cornerback that you can rely on for a few years to come. Let's put together a UDFA draft. We're just going to pick guys. I don't care what your logic is. I don't care what the rationale is. I just want us to try to find the guys that will make this roster out of the UDFAs. That's coming up next. Got a new partner here on the Viking Squad Show. It's Yahoo Fantasy, because fantasy football is back. Fire up the group chat. Mine's been blowing up. Get your draft board ready. Buckle up for the season of breakouts, busts, all the overreaction that we live for. My fantasy group had their rookie draft recently. Landed Travis Hunter in the first round. Pretty fired up about that. Also took Shadur in the third round. Don't know how I feel about that. Felt like a value play. Anyway, we're on Yahoo Fantasy. And you should be too, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your 1 millionth league. The app is so easy to use. The setup is so simple. And the smack talk, it just hits different in the message boards. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness, I think I've been around for all 28. Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. It all begins August 4th. Stay tuned and get started by creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy Football League at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. Let's make this fantasy season the best one yet. In the show prep email, Julia and Ron, I have listed a bunch of names that nobody knows. These are undrafted players from this year, as well as undrafted players from last year that are on the Vikings roster. Let's do a little snake draft. Let's pick 3 UDFAs and see if we can nail who sneaks their way onto this roster. I may as well just give Max Brosmer to Ron because I know that's his guy, but we'll go through it anyway. Julia, why don't you take a stab? I don't need big rationale or explanations. You can just go off vibes purely.
And we're doing 3, right? We're doing 3 guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the end, we'll have 3 UDFAs, or second-year UDFAs. So, Julia, go ahead.
Oh God, I'm like, who?
I make you research. Hey, when I plan the show, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna be stumped by this, but I'm gonna make them squirm a little bit.
I'm gonna go for sure Silas Bolden.
Yep, I like that.
I have a question. I thought I read this somewhere when I was looking up Silas a few weeks ago. Did Silas go to high school with CJ Stroud?
Ooh, down in was that in Texas? Would that have been, or was that somewhere else?
Are they from California?
Let's look. On-air research, gotta love it. He is from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Is that Stroud School? Very well, could be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sweet. I think that he's got a shot as the return specialist, but he's gonna have to be really good at it. He's gonna have to be really good at it because I think the Vikings have a handful of candidates.
That's where Ice Cube and Mike Epps went to school during.
Oh, really?
No, during the movie Friday. That's a joke.
Oh.
You're too young. You probably don't even remember Friday. Next Friday. The movie.
I know. I've never watched it, but
Friday after next, one of the two. Yeah, Rancho Cucamonga. That's where the dad, when he hit the lotto, that's where he moved to.
Oh, Silas went to Oregon State for the first 4 years of his career too. All right, Ron, who's your first pick?
Max Brosmer, Leroy Jenkins. Give me Max Brosmer.
The least surprising pick of all time. So Julia takes Silas. Ron takes Max.
I think I know who Sam wants.
I've got 2 crushes. So who do I take first? I think I'll take my guy Zamaya. I think my most affection is for him, but I do have one more that I desire. Let's go back to Ron.
I thought it was a snake draft. Don't you get 2 or no?
Yeah. Oh, I do get 2. Thank you. So I get Joe Huber right away.
I knew you were going to go there. That's the one I was staring at.
Zamaya and Joe. Beautiful. All right, now Ron gets his second pick.
I'm going to go with because I was going to go Huber just because I was going to take that pick from you, but it's tough. This is a tough one. Let's go with Deshaun Jones.
Second-year guy, wide receiver, could emerge. I like
You
it.
never know. You never know.
Julia gets 2 now.
Oh, 2.
You
Okay.
get 2, yeah.
I'm gonna go. I don't know anything about these guys. Dorian Mousy, is that how you say his name? Mossy, Dorian Mossy, Auburn
Let's
guy.
go with it.
Ooh. Auburn guy.
Oh, man.
You can go talk to him today at practice, and you can ask him. How about that? And you
And
can
ask
say,
him
"I
about
picked
it?
you. I picked you in the UDFA draft on the Viking Squad Show. Check it out."
Don't disappoint me like your college choice did. That's what I'll say.
There's a handful of Auburn guys here, Julia. That's going to really bother you. I think Dorian. I want to say Austin.
I'm gonna start
Keys.
itching when I talk to him and be like, why am I so itchy? I'm having a visceral reaction to this.
An Auburn allergy. I think Robert Lewis is also an Auburn guy. So look out. Be careful.
Robert Lewis.
Yeah. You get one more pick.
I gotta get one more pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like trying to figure out any names that I'm recognizing here, and nothing. I'm gonna go. Did someone already say Deshaun Jones?
Yep.
Yeah, stolen by Ron.
Okay. Okay, well then, I don't know. Bryson Nesbitt, isn't he a tight end?
He is a tight end, Bryson Nesbitt, and that's not bad because Bartholomew is hurt right now. Yeah, Nesbitt. I think he's a North Carolina guy. Might have caught passes from Drake May a couple of years ago. Contested catch guy, big frame. I like it. All right, Ron, you get your third pick.
Problem is, some of these guys are so far down on the depth chart. Like that's the problem. Like trying to get it right. Shoot. You know what? I'm gonna just go with just in case. I'm gonna go with Austin Keys. Nobody picked him, right?
No, I think that's the other Auburn guy, I believe.
Austin Keys.
Linebacker.
Just in case, yeah. Brian Asamoah becomes a cap casualty. Maybe Austin Keys gets to stick around. You know, most likely practice squad though. But
yeah.
Hey.
All right, my number 3. I'm gonna go with Elijah Williams.
That's the other I was looking at.
He is a small school pass rusher from Morgan State. The Morgan State Bears.
Sounds like someone Belichick went to. He scouted him.
Belichick loves his small school guys.
Oh, yeah.
A little undersized, but the production. Oh my goodness, 11 sacks last year, 8 the year before that, 11 the year before that, 33 career sacks. So he tore up whatever division Morgan State is in. I don't know if it's the MEAC, the WAC. I don't know where Morgan is. Was it West Virginia? I don't know. Wherever Morgan State is, he tore up that league of football. So we're banking on him converting that to the NFL. I think he's a little bit of a tweener. Not sure where he plays, but we'll figure it out. The Vikings will figure it out. Who's our defensive line coach, Ron? Do you know? Whoever it is going to figure it out.
It's the guy from LSU.
Not Rumpf anymore. Yeah.
The guy from LSU. Forgot his name.
All right. And I can't remember it right now. So that's our show. Those are our UDFA picks. And today, Julia Daniels, Care 11, will be out at Vikings training camp practice. How exciting is that? Public will be out there on Saturday. Julia will be doing a newscast from a bunker somewhere tonight.
Maybe. I don't know yet.
And you can check that out. Channel 11. Or for me, it's 811, actually, if I want to watch in high definition on Xfinity. Ron Johnson had Drake Lindsay on his latest show. Check that out, the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Find our audio of this show, the Viking Squad Show, on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed. Thanks so much for watching, listening, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll talk to you soon.